Blessings, 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 family. Much love, much love. Let's get to it. What? 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 Oh man. Sex robots? The idea brings up so many ideas. And feel free to let me know what you think, in the comments. Ideas, pros, cons. I'm gonna share a couple that comes to mind. I'm reading from an article, a few things from an article, but I'm gonna think about one thing that comes to mind is human population. Because with the advent of sex robots, you would think people who are not really getting anybody, having problems with people, don't want to deal with people, the nuances of a relationship, somebody that artificial thing that will always say yes to you. You would think that person would always have fun. The person would never have to get rejected. The person would have their pleasure and not have to worry about pregnancy. Would this have an impact on population as they make these robots more developed? Because there are robots out there that are very human-like. Their parts are like there's gel inside the body parts, so they actually have the form of the vagina. I mean, it's mostly female bots that's out there. I'm not sure there's men. I think there's men, but mostly female. Because mostly men are like wanting to have that sex, very high sex drives. Men are usually are more than a woman want this. So the creators are actually able to make these bots feel real or have the body parts and use the right material. Maybe I guess occasionally they gotta send it back into the factory and get it, not refurbished, refined or change some parts and bring back that feel. They're trying to get as close to a human feel as possible. Nothing can beat the real thing, of course, but with artificial, everything's artificial. There's artificial food and artificial drinks and people with artificial, body parts already. Arms, legs, breasts, butt. So my question is, how is this going to impact population? Could this be a ploy to try to lower the human population? Could be. But let me read from the article. This is from the Psychology Today, the pros and cons of the new age of sex robots. Sex robots are here. It's not just a gimmick of science fiction. Alright? Let me skip down. Most sex robots are little more than slightly animated dolls. Perhaps the most advanced sex robot we know of is Samantha, the creation of Cynthia Amatis. Samantha is designed to be capable of enjoying sex. It's not just about sex. You can tell jokes. But if you're too rough with her, or she doesn't like your behavior, she is programmed to go into dummy mode and shut down. Currently, robot partners can go to excess of $10,000. $10,000. So these things are not cheap. These things are. You got people who will. It's like the price of a new car. Not a used car. Thousands of dollars down the drain. I mean, of course, you got people who are making 6 figures plus who can easily afford this. Multi-millions. easily afford it. But for the typical person, $10,000, that's pretty hefty. But of course, people are going to make that investment. People are going to even put this on a credit card to get into some sex, artificial sex. See how it is, you know. So you got people out there that will probably, oh yo bro, yo, can I buy your sex robot? You guys see how it is? Can I experiment with your sex, bro? No problem, bro. Have fun with my Susan, my Cindy, my Crystal. Probably they named their sex robots. I want to see how it is, so I'll probably buy my own. The question here is not whether or not sex robots are coming; they are here. They're going to be continually evolving. The question here concerns the physiological, psychological, and social ramifications. So even in this website, they are talking about what's going to happen, how is it going to impact us. As we accompany this brave new sexual world, as if any technology, there's a laundry list of pros and cons. I recently asked several married couples how they would feel if they walked in on their spouse having sex with a robot. In each case, the reactions were the same. On one hand, it felt like it was a little more than masturbation. So the robot. So if you want a robot to masturbate you, grope you, it's like it's a sex toy, not a big deal. On the other hand, they worry that the partner relying on the sex robot, there will be some emotional attachment to the robot. You know, yeah, imagine you trying to have sex with your spouse and not really interested in their isolated, distant, and you know, but you see how they looking at their sex robot, you see them eyeing their sex robot, you see them, here and there touching their sex robot in a certain way. You know, one day you come early from work and you hear some moaning and groaning, and you come and you see, sex with the robot, and you haven't had sex with me in how long? Because a sex robot, I imagine, that's like how the pornography scene show is the person doesn't say no. People, real life relationships, somebody who's gonna say no for different reasons. Hormones, and the girl's feeling particularly, distant, maybe issues in the finances, dishes ain't clean, house ain't clean, the kids are all over the place and not giving trouble. She's not gonna want to have sex like the typical guy's gonna want to have sex. But the robot's gonna give him the sex whenever he wants. Here, and there's some more pros. Here's a fact. Here's some pros now. Factors contributing to an individual's sense of well-being and use of a sex robot include sexual and perhaps emotional companionship for those who are unable to find human partners. Because there are a lot of people out there who are lonely. Loneliness. And that's one of the big reasons that people say they want this loneliness. Wow. With an advancing of AI form, a human could form potentially satisfying relationship with a robotic partner. And my question is, why is a person lonely? Some people are lonely because they don't go out, they don't try new places to look for a partner. They've given up. They lack self-confidence. They are not properly groomed. They have not properly grown as a human being to really go out there and look for somebody. So there are things that they can work on with themselves and change, but they're unwilling to do that. Unwilling to change, look better, speak better, go to places they've never been to before. Let's continue. Those supporting use of sex robots argue that sexually transmitted diseases are not transmitted. Obviously, there wouldn't be an STD problem with a robot, and I would agree with that. I wouldn't imagine a robot would have an STD. It may release sexual frustrations in those who otherwise vent in public via sexual harassment or assault. So people who are pedophiles and rapists and probably have issue with groping and beat somebody. They're saying that this could be a way to release their sexual frustration. What you gotta think about that? I don't know. It might release some frustrations. What happens if the robot gets malfunctioned? What happens if the robot, imagine if the robot malfunction doesn't work and they don't have enough money anymore to buy it, and what are they gonna do? It's teaching you to go to an alternate source to deal with sexual frustration, rather than deal with the sexual frustration that's within you. Because if frustrations are not dealt with the right way, eventually it can backfire some way, somehow, another way. So the person is still not gonna have that issue dealt with, even though they have an artificial way of dealing with it. But something happened to that sex robot, malfunction. What if accidentally what if accidentally get water on it? I guess it might make it waterproof. But what if something happens to it and malfunctions? It stops working. And they try to buy more, and they have a shortage, and they gotta wait for the next one to be delivered, and they just can't wait. They can't wait to get their sexual release, and then they're feeling particularly horny at that moment, and you say, "No, I can't wait for the sex robot to come in the mail." And then because they have not dealt with their sexual frustrations and a natural, more therapeutic way, they release that on somebody. Because the frustration still has not been dealt with, so one way or the other, it can still leak out and cause issue. Come on. It's like an example, if somebody goes from one relationship to the next and have not dealt with past baggage, they eventually will leak into the next relationship and affect that next person, because they have not dealt with their frustration, they have not dealt with the baggage of the past. Things may be good for a while, but things happen and then the baggage leaks out. It's a good tool to learn from and garner sexual experience before having human relationships. So it's saying it's a way to train a person artificially to get ready for the natural. Sexual experience. I would think, why would you have to train with a robot to have sex? Because being a Christian, believing in finding the right person, knowing the person, getting connected spiritually with a person, emotional connection. When you connect with somebody spiritually, emotionally, you get married and you finally have sex. You grow with the person. You learn with the person to have sex. Well, you're gonna have amazing sex, and you can practice on your spouse. You're not gonna practice with a robot. Come on. Nonsense. You can practice with your spouse who you are holistically connected to. It may be as simple as a fun addition to the sexual canon for both individuals and couples. Couples who have considered having a threesome, even suggest that it may be a healthy alternative to add a sex robot as a third. There's people with their perverted ideas now, with them orgies now. So you want to incorporate a robot into that now? So what's to stop your spouse when you guys have arguments, or you go on a business trip? He takes a sex robot with him and he just hooks it with the maid at a hotel somewhere. Because that idea of an orgy with a partner and a robot the idea of an orgy is going to fester into other scenarios. And that ideas in his mind that's okay to have orgies now. Finally, in many cases, it seems to be a natural progression of social interaction for those who are champions of technology. A natural progression of social interaction. That's a thought that's being put out there. No, I think that's a natural decline. It's a decline in social interaction, in my opinion. And some cons. For as many pros that can be listed, those who are against the integration of sex robots into society are quick to point out the potential problems this new technology will cause. First, when it comes to a couple, there's a more question of whether or not having sex with them, sex with an AI form is an act of infidelity. Is it infidelity to have sex with a robot? Well, it's fake, it's not real, but earlier there was a mention about an emotional attachment, so there's a possibility that the spouse can get emotionally connected to a robot. So I don't know if it's infidelity, but it can still interfere and damage with the health of the natural relationship with another person. Some see having a sexual relation with a female robot as an act of furthering the idea of women as objects. And this is a big one for me that I really agree with. That you're seeing women, men, for those who have men and women sex robots as objects. Once again, it's furthering the idea that we're just people are just sex is just something to just have fun, play with, experiment with. And you look at this robot as having sex, having fun. That's very likely, highly likely, going to play out into real people that you're just another sex object of mine. You're just someone that's just here for my pleasure. Furthermore, they feel as if a person would predispose towards sexual aggression or harassment will be fueled by using a sex robot for their negative further actions. This may even go as far as to embolden those who crave non-consensual sex. This is the very reason that many are concerned about companies producing sex robots in the form of children. So they're saying that this sex robots having sex with them can crave the that propensity, that appetite for sex that's just non-consensual. Just, I want it, I get it whenever I want. Come on. It's concerned of, okay, it's the very reason I'm concerned about companies producing sex robots in the form of children. Are they really doing that? Making sex robots children robots? That's even more disturbing. And like I said, what if something happens to the robots? What if there's a issue in the production line? Person has to order another one right away. So what if their robot gets stolen by somebody? I don't got the money to buy another one. You know, that frustration is there. They're a pedophile, they're a rapist, they have cheating inclinations, and they go off to find a real person and release that frustration with. Because it is strengthening their propensity, their desire, that passion to want to have sex, and I expect you to give it to me one-on-one. There shouldn't be no. But robots are not going to say no. There's no program to say yes. I give it to you when you want it. Overall, there is a fear that robotic partners will result in a reduction of human empathy. There's concern that misplaced emotional connection will have negative psychological consequences for the vulnerable. Lastly, some worry that interaction dynamics amounting from the use of sex robots providing unrealistic expectations when the individual moves from sex of a robot to human sex. So having sex with a robot, empathy could go down for an actual person. The robot does what it wants, does what you want, sex whenever you want, there's no feelings involved. So when a person actually finds a real life person, it could negatively impact how they talk to that person. Not really going to care about their sexual concern. It's all about themselves, what they want, what they desire. So there's some people, some scientists are not really talking about this. Some are too embarrassed to talk about it. Some are, but I think as time moves forward, there's gonna be a further discussion about this. I don't think it's the right move. It might be some benefit to it in the short term, maybe in some cases, but for the most part, I don't think so. It's just the AI is just person gets their pleasure for the moment and have fun for the moment, but then long term, nah, I don't think so. But hey, give me a feedback. If you want to comment, let me know what you think. What a topic, huh? Sexual revolution continues. People trying to find a way to get the release. But yeah, it's the way the world is. The world will do. But let's pray. Father in heaven, we thank you, Lord, for your love, your peace, your grace, and mercy. We thank you, Lord. I pray that we just get more exposure to what's going on, and more people would find healthy relationships. More people would deal with their sexual frustrations. People would seek to find better answers to deal with the sexual problems rather than the artificial route. And often we tend to go into our artificial routes, and which don't work out long term. Even with diets and genetically modified food, which are devoid of nutrients, which is damaging our cells and our biome, damaging our neurons, damaging our longevity. These things probably help in the short term, but long term they have very damaging consequences. So let's pray, Lord, that as many people as possible will not go down this road, and they'll resist the urge to do this. Have your way, Father, in Jesus' name, amen. Yes, family, God bless you all. These robots, man, more people, there's a lot of owners. There are a lot of people who have these, and I think until Christ returns, these robots are going to stay. They're here to stay. So all we can do is just continue to spread. As time moves forward, there's gonna be more people who's gonna talk for it and talk against it. But that's what we're living in. So people are gonna do what they're gonna do, and the church is gonna do what the church does. We're gonna continue to speak against evil. So pray for these people. Pray against all the delusions. I think it's a huge deception, a huge illusion, and it's gonna hurt us long term, in my opinion. So, well. God bless you all. Grace and peace be upon you and your families. Don't get a sex robot. Invest in yourself. Invest in growing yourself, and get with a real human being and have the sex the best way. Come on, natural with a human being. All right. Learn to deal with a person's temperament, and sometimes you don't want to deal with a person's attitude. That's how we grow as people. A robot may not argue with you, or be mad at you for not cleaning the floor, or washing the dishes, or cleaning the bathtub, or fixing the bed. But that's how we grow as people. We learn to solve problems together. We learn to grow together. We learn to handle conflict together. And having these robots is not going to help people to handle conflict. It's not going to grow our conflict resolution skills. It's just another easy way out to just get your pleasure, but not deal with consequences, deal with the reality of dealing with a person, and getting better at resolving relationship issues. Come on. And if you have issues solving, relationship issues with platonically, You don't think that's gonna boil over professionally with your coworkers, your boss, your clients, your customers, people you meet on the street? Come on, it's gonna bleed out into that as well. So, like I said, people get their pleasure from the robot and get a little pleasure for a short-term period of time, but socially, psychologically, long-term, nah. God bless you all. Grace and peace be upon you and your families. God bless you.